Hey, happy Saturday. So I am a day late for getting this video out. I was actually working up until the wee hours playing around with what idea did I actually want to go with? Because I did lie, I am not going to go with the idea I was doing before. I'm actually moving to a tower defense game. So if you're not familiar with what a tower defense game is, the idea is you have waves of enemies that are coming towards you and defend home base, right? So, what does that mean for today? So, today I'm actually going to do some live coding and show you how I'm starting. So, let's walk through our journey that we've done so far. For the first 8 days, so worked on the farmer application, the farmer game. The idea was I wanted to test being able to actually pick up items and take them between multiple areas and have some sort of effect. Also was able to create an inventory system, and the inventory system was part of the global state. We were able to use vendors as part of using our currency that we were able to get for some of the items that we had in our inventory when we sold them. So if you remember, we were able to purchase the corn. We were able to plant the corn as long as we had water as well. And with that, we were able to actually get the crop, which could be sold at the store. Now, that is where we ended off on last time with that game. Now, for the last 2-3 days, I started working on what I was calling the space shooter survival game. And that was effectively a spaceship floating through and killing waves of enemies and getting a high score and showing it on the screen. So we were able to actually create the full loop and allow the user to have some sort of something at the end to move forward with. So if you were defeated, you had a score of what you had, or you completed it and you got, well, all the points, right? That one does have a lot of potential to move forward, but I wanted to move off to something and try to focus on some new mechanics. So, what does that mean? I wanted to move to something still that's 2D, and I found something that was working off the grid. Now, when I mention the grid, that's actually the grid on the screen. So, working with different tiles and being able to have some sort of effect with what you wanted to do. So, I found that tutorial that looked cool. I started thinking about it more, and I kind of wanted to blow more stuff up. So that's where we're going to a tower defense. So it's not only still bringing in some danger, but it's allowing you to be danger as well. You know what? That was the same on the last one. You were as dangerous to them as they were to you, right? Maybe even more dangerous. But for this one, the goal is going to be getting the enemies to spawn, to go through our path, to make it to the end, where if they make it, they deal damage to your base. Too much damage and you are done. So your goal is to place towers and deal enough damage to be able to complete all of the waves, and the waves get increasingly difficult. So I'm going to go ahead and remove everything that I have now. We're going to just go ahead and start fresh because I love that. I'm going to walk you through setting this entire thing up. Now, I'm going to leave the assets that I have in here. I did pull some assets from itch.io. So I found this really cool set. It's called Ninja Adventure. One, I love ninjas, but two, I thought the colors and everything were actually matching pretty well to what I wanted to do. Again, I want to build some sort of terrain, some sort of path that I can create, paint it, and move on. So rather than drawing and trying to make this stuff myself, I now have a really cool example in case I want to, but also I can just get moving and learning. So my goal is not specifically, the goal did not exactly include making 2D assets, although I have learned about it quite a bit. So right now I'm taking advantage of this to move to learning different things. Now, I may take a little bit of time to actually sit and learn how to do this, but I may do that outside of the 60 days. I also do have my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's 14. She, I believe, is going to be interested in playing around with this. So anyways, I'm moving on. That's Ninja Adventure. That's the Ninja Adventure pack. Looks like it's by Pixel Boy Ninja Adventure Asset Pack. So go take a look at that if you're interested. All right. So what are we doing? Let me go ahead and clear this one off so that we don't have anything existing. I don't need that anymore. Let's go ahead and get rid of our scenes. Bloop. All gone. Don't want it. We're going to start from nothing. All right. So all we have now are the assets that we're going to use to make the game look okay. So the first thing that I want to do is actually start talking about adding that map that I was mentioning. So if we come in here and we go look at TileMapLayer. So I ran across a number of tutorials that talked about TileMap. TileMapLayer is what's replacing TileMap. So TileMapLayer, as you're going to see here really quickly, you're not going to see it really quickly. I click on 2D, you'll see it. Is actually going to give us a nice little grid that we can play with. And this is really cool. So this is going to give us a grid that we can paint on, and I'm going to show you something here really fast to be able to make a map. So what am I going to do? So I have a grid. I need to add some color. I need to add something. So what I want to add is a tile set. So a tile set is going to be a number of textures. The pop-up is off of your screen. It says the tile set is used by this layer. The textures, collisions, and additional behavior of all available tiles are stored here. So what I want to do is I want to hit this drop down right here next to empty, and I want to go to new tile set. I don't have a tile set yet. So let's go ahead and click on that. Now, when you click new tile set, it's going to pop up down here at the bottom of your screen, and it's just going to say tile set. So because I was able to pick up that the Ninja tile set, the Ninja Adventure tile set, sorry, I had to open it up again and figure out the name one more time. I do have a number of images that I can just throw in here. So I'm going to bring it up to the top so you can see it really quick. This one is called the TileSet floor. And all this is a number of tiles put together. As you can see, it's pretty rad, but they're completely random because they're trying to get all different positions, and you'll see why. So let's go ahead and throw it here into TileSet. Now, what I want to do is there is a pop-up. It says the atlas's textures were modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles in this atlas? So I have been using yes on this. Now, I do have to tell you that sometimes you're not going to get as lucky as we are here because you see it's actually fitting the tiles in really well. So you may have to reshape the tiles. So coming into here, you can look at the tile set and you can change the tile size. So if the tile size changes, you may have to come up here also and change options. Now, let's go into, I think it's configure snap. Yep. Configure snap. You're going to have to set some stuff up in here as well to make everything match up. So again, I got really lucky and it's working. So now what do we do? Well, I want to go into the tile set and actually start adding something called a terrain. So a terrain is going to allow me to easily draw my path without having to do it all manually. And let me explain what I mean by that. So first things first that I want to do is I want to come down here. We're going to use this grid right here. We're going to use the dark green and the dark brown because I think it looks pretty good. But I'm going to take this green here and we're going to start painting. So let's click on Tile Map. We're going to click the dark green. I'm going to click this and the line, and I'm just going to start drawing the edge of the map. Now, I do have to take a step back real quick because I keep doing this. I keep drawing here in the TileMap layer. I did it the first time as I was going through the tutorial last night. And then, earlier, right before this, when I did it, I did this here as well. This is just going to be the TileMap layer. I don't actually want to do the drawing on here yet. We'll figure that out in just a moment when we go over to the other. Now, I'm probably being just a little overcautious and not drawing on here because I feel like I'm messing up. I'm going to figure that one out in just a little bit after this. So, what I'm going to do now is actually create the terrain. So I'm throwing you around a little bit. Now, the terrain is going to allow us to effectively grab this paintbrush and just start drawing. Now, this is drawing a line, and it's going to create the path for us. Now, if I grab like one of these corners, you can see that doesn't look too good. That's not what a path should look like. So you have to grab every individual piece, and you have to start figuring out what are your corners, and then you can start drawing down. You can start drawing your corners around, right? You have to do all of that manually. But what if I told you that Godot can just kind of do it for you? Oh gosh. Anyways, so here's how we build a terrain. So the first things first, there's a quick heads up. Click on where it says TileSet. Don't click on TileSet on the left. It does nothing. Don't click this. It will reset. And don't click this. It will bring up this menu. Click on TileSet. You get additional options. This saved me. This took me a little bit of time to find. And once I found it, I was a happy person. So what I want to do is click on Terrain Sets. Terrain Sets allows us to add an element. And I just leave it as it is. It says match corners and sides. You're going to see when you do match corners and sides and you draw, it does that automatically. We're going to click on terrains and we're going to add an element. Now this color here is just going to be something that you're going to see when you start selecting. So I'm going to choose something that's not dark brown or green. And then what I'm going to do is come down here into TileSet. Now I'm going to drag this up a little bit so that you can see a bit more of what I'm doing, and then I can zoom in. What I want to do now is in Paint. So TileSet, click on here and you click on Paint. Now mine's already selected. Also, Terrains is already selected from the drop down because I was using the same one that I've been using. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to select the terrain that you just created. We only have one. It makes it easy. Next thing you want to do is you want to choose that color for the terrain. That's awesome. Now what I want to do is I want to select the ones that are going to apply to the terrain. So I can start clicking and just, I selected too many. I want to come in here and I just want to start selecting some. And what that's going to allow me to do is now you see I have a smaller square. So what I want to do is I want to start clicking on all of the brown, all of the terrain. As I click on all of the terrain, you can see the color I selected on the right-hand side is what's actually going on top of it. This just makes it easy to do. So every single one that I selected, I need to go through and I need to highlight all the terrain. I've already done this a few times. So let's go ahead and do this. Now, you see I made a mistake here. You can right-click and remove it. As long as the purple is not there, you're good to go. Let's go in here. Bloop. All right. And that's that. And then we have our final one. Let's go ahead and get this. So the cool thing is they have created all of these that include all of the different combinations of pieces for any sort of angle that you are trying to create a piece for, that you're trying to take your path. Now, I am still learning for what reason do I see my path not creating the right edge, using the right edge or the right angle. I've only been, playing with this since late last night. I am reminding you about that a lot. I apologize. But effectively, because of that, I don't know at this point, but I am interested in learning. So I might end up doing a deep dive on that. So I believe I selected all these pretty well. Now remember, these are all 9x9 grids. If you need to go more granular, you can't go more granular. You might be able to go more granular if there is an option. That is not something I've played with yet. So that's pretty cool. All right, so let's use it. Cool. So let's go ahead and click TileMap down here. And there might have been something that you saw earlier. Terrains, terrain 0. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and draw real quick, but I'm going to end up deleting. But here's what happens. So when you create, look at this. Look at this. It's creating my path for me. Now, you just saw the little bit of a bug that happens, but we can knock it out of it sometimes. But sometimes we can't, and that's okay. So we'll go with single file path because that's what it seems to be most successful with on this one. So we could get rid of that and put that back down. You see? And let me go ahead and move this over into a main scene where we're actually going to use it, and I'll show you what we do. So let's go ahead and save this. So we are going to save this scene under tile sets, and I'm going to call this ground tile set. And then let's go ahead and close that, create a 2D scene, and I'm going to go ahead and, all right, well, I couldn't add it there, but that's fine. That was my first time actually clicking that. Let's go ahead and add this tile set here. So what that did is it added the tile set right onto the main scene. And now we're going to draw it, and then we're going to play the game. Well, okay, we're going to take a look at the game and see what happens. So the first thing that I want to do, because this is what I tried doing before, and I still want to do it, is I need to draw my boundary. I want to draw my boundary. Drawing my boundary makes this entire process just a little bit easier, makes me a little happy. And of course, get rid of your erase tool if you're not using it. Don't select your erase tool. All right. Done, 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 done. All right, look, game's done. All right, nope. So where do we go from here? Let's go ahead and grab terrain, remember, and let's draw. Let's start drawing. All right, so I'm going to start up here, and what I want to do is just kind of, because this is a tower defense, I'm just going to give a little bit of a pattern, and I'm going to end right here. Okay, let's start here. Ooh, and we're going to go down. We're going to come back up. Now it is split, and I saw that, and we will fix it. Now I don't care about using the whole map. We're having fun. Let's get rid of this, let's fix that. We have a double one there. I'm gonna actually have this come up, and I'm gonna have it complete right there. And I'm gonna do that and that. And I mean, it's not pretty, but it's mine, and I'm happy with it. So the next thing I want to do is I want to fill in those spaces. So with Godot, we have a fun little thing we can do. One, I'm going to go ahead and click on this place random tile. Okay. I'm going to highlight from the green over to here. Second thing I'm going to do, paint bucket. Third thing, click. Oh, it's so pretty. Hold on. Select current, main, scenes, save. We have our game. Let's go. I mean, is that all we got to do? I mean, it looks pretty good to me. I don't care that this is here. I mean, it gives it character. So actually, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that. It looks like our map has a little bit of a warp problem. Not judging. All right. Let's go ahead and go here, and we'll go ahead and reset that, and I'll grab my terrain tool, and we'll draw on there, and it's gone. All right. Well, where do we go from here? So I just extended that out because I'm going to add an enemy on here. So what do I want to do now? Well, I want an enemy to walk on this map and make it to the end. Let's do it. All right. We have our map. I got my enemy. Let's get an enemy. So for an enemy, I'm going to go ahead and use the CharacterBody2D. So CharacterBody2D is going to allow us still to have our collision that we're used to. If I wasn't going to use a CharacterBody2D, I'd probably use an Area 2D. But because I'm giving it a sprite and I might use some animations and some of that stuff, we're just going to use CharacterBody2D. I was also hearing some stuff about we might want to use a little bit of physics on this. I mean, maybe. I don't see any reason right now, but maybe if we have like some sort of knockback, maybe. But I want to know more about that. But right now, CharacterBody2D is going to do the job for us. I mean, an enemy is a pretty good character in my mind. Not a good character, but it is. All right. So with that, I do need to add a collision shape. The collision shape that we're going to add on here is going to be based on the sprite. We're going to come in here into characters, and there is this face set that I really just want to, from a character perspective, shoot. I want my tower to get rid of this guy. So let's go ahead and throw him on here. Now, that doesn't really fit. So what we're going to do is actually reset him. So we're going to throw him on here for scale. Going to go to character body. And let's go to transform and let's check out our scale. So, all right. So face set was not on character body. Okay, my bad. Let's fix that. All right. One more time. Character body, scale, bloop, 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 bloop. And I think that's okay. Let's go down just a little bit more. Maybe 0.2. I think that's fine. That makes me happy. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and just leave him there. I mean, he's not harming anything. He's an enemy. He's a bad guy. No, I want him to walk on the path. Okay, so in order to get something to walk on a path, let's hide him for a minute. Oh, my bad. I need to add a shape to this. Let's add a rectangular shape. We're going to throw it over there, and we'll throw that over there. Okay. In order to get this to actually start moving, we're going to start adding something on here called a path. So there are two things we're going to add. One is the Path2D. The Path2D is going to allow us to set anchor points and allow us to set the start and the end of where our characters are going to go, where the baddies are going to be moving. The next thing is the PathFollow2D, which is going to allow us to set some progression. So as the enemy walks through, it is going to be getting further and further on the path, and we're going to be able to know where it is on the path at all times. We're going to be able to progress it on there. So let's go ahead and add a Path2D. I'm just going to name this Path, because why not? So the first thing that I want to do is actually start creating some anchor points. So let's zoom out a little bit so I can see. So when you have path selected, you're going to come up here and you're going to see you have select points, select control points, add points, remove points, and close curve. And just get rid of all of them. We're going to add the points. So I want them to start off the map. Remember that cool little thing I added first? So click one right there. Now, I don't know if there is a rhyme or reason why we should be adding more or less points. As you can see, I'm not really getting them on the trail very well, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just add as many points as my heart desires, which is going to be a lot, because one, we have a lot of turns, and two, it's kind of a long path. I hope they have little drinking stations, because my goodness, they're either going to be tired or destroyed by the time that they get through this. Okay. And almost there. I keep taking them right off the path. Good Lord. All right. So we're going to get him to the end and done. All right. Let's go ahead and select that last one, and we're just going to move it straight to the end. All right. So you couldn't see that last one. There it is. But here is the map, and this is what we're going to see. So now let's add the enemy and have him follow the path. But how do we have him follow the path? We have a path follow. So now we have a path follow. Path follow, we don't have to set much on. There will be a little adjustment that we may need to make later, but let's get to that first. First things first, where's my enemy? Enemy's going to be on follow path. We're going to remove transform. I'm also going to show the enemy. And there we go. All right, so let's check. Are they actually following the path? Well, it doesn't look like they're moving. Well, let's go take a look. So the first thing that we need to do, we need a script. All right, let's go for it. So we're going to do a new script. So this script is actually going to be a enemy controller. CONTR. Okay. This is going to be in scripts. So what is the enemy controller going to do? So each turn that we have, we're going to have the enemy follow through that path. So how do we do that? Well, first things first, we need to just set the progress. So let's do a get parent, and then we need to get progress, set progress. And to set the progress, we need to get parent, and we need to get progress, and we're going to multiply it by a speed, which I failed to set the variable before I threw it in there. Oops. We're going to add speed, and then we're going to multiply it by delta, which is a float. And we're going to say const speed equals, we're just going to do 100 right now and see what happens. So let's go ahead and run the game and see what happens. Oh, I don't know if you can see it. It looks like a little ant on my side. Probably looks like a smaller ant on your side. Look at that. So we have the enemy running the track, and he's going to get to the end. Oh, and he starts over again. That's a quick adjustment. So the enemy is going to follow. As you can see, they actually look at the point, which is pretty cool. You don't have to do anything on that. So they have the auto rotation as part of the follow. But we saw something that was a little annoying, and it's going to loop. So let me go ahead and just stop that real quick, and we'll let it run through there one more time. Now, as part of removing the loop, I would hope that it would just like get destroyed at the end, right? I mean, the idea is they go from point A and they go to point B, and what's their purpose? Well, they stay. So let's fix that. All right. So the next thing that we want to take a look at is the progress ratio. So I can go take a look at the progress ratio, and if it's 1, which is 100% completed, then we can go ahead and just get rid of the guy because there's no reason to keep it around, right? So we're going to do a get parent, and then we're going to get progress ratio equals 1. Equals 1. Amateur moment. And of course, that too. We're going to do a queue free. Okay. So if you're not familiar with what queue free does, queue free actually destroys the object. So it just keeps everything clean. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and progress it through. Now I'm actually going to bump this up to 300 and make the guy run a little faster. Now it's moving quite fast. but you see it's gone. So that's that. The next thing that we can take a look at is there's one more thing. Now, we're not just going to have one enemy, we're going to have multiple enemies. Now, I'm debating if I'm going to use this, but at least this has taken me in a different direction. So when we had the waves, we had on the space shooter, we had multiple enemies show up based on the wave number, and they were just random. Now, this isn't random. They're all coming from off the screen. They're all standing off the screen somewhere screaming at us, but for some reason they're sending one or two at a time. Okay? That's the game. But we need them to periodically come into our game. So I'm going to go ahead and move this into a scene. So let's just go ahead and take this path and we'll do it as a scene. We can actually just name this a stage, but I'm just going to do it as a scene. So we're going to go ahead and do stage path, because why not? And then stage path, that's fine. But what I'm going to do is actually add a timer. Now, a timer allows us to execute things based on a period of time. So when this executes, it signals out a timeout, okay? So what I want to do is I want to come over here to the main node, and I want to add a script. And I'm going to call this main controller. This is under scripts. And in main controller, I don't need anything else. I'm going to come over here, click on timer, node, timeout, and create a connection. Voila. What I'm going to say is on ready, var stage path equals, and we're going to do a preload, and a preload allows us to pull something in. And what we're going to do is the stage path. And then at this point, what we can do is I can actually add it as a child. So I can do add child stage path. No, I lied. Var path equals stage path dot instantiate. Sorry, I forgot that I have to instantiate it. You can't just add a straight path. So this is going to create an instance of the path, so it'll take that scene, create a new object with it, and then slap it in as a child. Well, I bet you're dying to see it. So let's get rid of this stage path because we want no children on there right now. And then if you take a look, I'm just going to leave it full screen. Nothing's going to happen. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this. And let's figure out exactly what's going on. Path instantiate. If I go into here, let's go into scenes, stage path, path follow enemy. Okay. Main. Timer. Oh. Remember to auto start. All right. So, timers require you to auto start. Look at that. Now we got these little guys just running through, all these little faces. They're just joining us, and they're destroying themselves. But that's okay. In this scenario, if you did not have any towers down defending, you'd lose the game. So, guess what I'm going to be doing here shortly after I post this? We're going to destroy those guys. I'm going to shoot some bullets at them. I'm going to show you the final product. I thought this was very interesting to show off. I understand that this is really fast. Again, I watched a YouTube tutorial for this one. I wish I still had it up. I'd be able to show it to you guys, or at least show you what the video was. He made it very simple to understand exactly what's going on so that we can get these little things running around like they are. So I hope you enjoyed that. I look forward to giving you the day 10 content and day 11 all the way through day 60 as part of the 60-day learning challenge. I am having an absolute blast learning Godot, and I really appreciate all the encouragement. I get regular messages from one of my buddies asking me how things are going with it. Um, and I've been absolutely invigorated with whatever. I'm getting excited. I'm getting a bit more excited than I have been for some of my personal projects in a while. So this will be the third game. We'll get this one cranked out. We'll move on to the next one. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a great day.